As you can see, we have a leader and inventor with a boundless innovation, imagination, expertise, and skills, and we have a customer in Raytheon and other customers that have belief in what we are doing and are funding what we are doing to bring this into market. And those are two incredible elements of where we are going with Cyclone. So once again, I met most of you, met either here or before. Christopher Nelson. I've been with the company since 2007, originally as outside counsel. Previously, I was with a big firm called Greenberg Traurig and doing securities work and M&A work. I left there because I really like working with inventors and entrepreneurs, and frankly, they couldn't afford my rates. So I went on my own, and a couple years later, I found Harry and Frankie and their crew, and instantly fell in love with this technology and with the people here. It's something that was, as we say, near and dear to my heart. I grew up with with a father who was an entrepreneur, and he started one of the first cogeneration companies in the United States in 1979. So I grew up understanding engines and efficiencies, talking about it around the dinner table. So when I found Cyclone, and with my expertise, I knew this is where I wanted to be. So over the years, I grew and grew with the company, and they made me president last year, and I really thank them for their faith in me. So we heard from Harry, our creative and inventing force and our technical force behind it with his team that he introduced of very, very talented and skilled engineers and technicians. You heard from Kevin Bowen, one of our big customers at Raytheon. So who does Cyclone want to be? What does Cyclone want to be moving ahead? Where are we aiming this company? This is our mission. We want to be a world-class clean tech engineering company. We want to be leading in game-changing, enabling, disruptive technologies that come from the core of our technology, the Cyclone engine. We're going to be using these technologies to make big changes in military, as Kevin said, power generation, and transportation. That's who we are focused on becoming. What that means and our guiding principles is that we need to be dedicated to this mission. And everyone is wearing a black shirt, and even people who are not. Incredible dedication here. For Harry, I've never seen someone work so hard as he does 7 days a week. Frankie, the same. And everyone here is completely dedicated. And we're focused in that dedication on critical paths, which means going from where we are now to revenue-producing prototypes and then into the market with finished products. That's where our focus is. Developing scientific approaches. That means being able to replicate, knowing that what we do in the lab, we can do again. We can build the same engine and improve upon that. That means putting things in writing, keeping notes of everything we do, creating the procedures and the processes that we need to grow from a scientific level. And then building upon those core technologies. As Harry explained, the Cyclone engine goes into so many different areas. So once you have that core down, once the scientific approach has been memorialized, you can then grow upon that into solar applications, into waste heat recovery applications, transportation applications, and beyond. And so we will continue as a company to invent and to innovate. And that's what we are all about. So how does that get into a business model? From our mission to these guiding principles into a business model. Well, it's all about, we're a company, and a for-profit company. We need to generate revenues. All of you guys know that. We've heard it, and we know it better than anyone here. So first of all, engineering fees, okay? That means what we do for Raytheon, what we do for an Advent Power Systems, what we do for Phoenix Power, what we do for Renovalia. That is engineering to develop prototypes, designs to meet a need and a desire that they have. That's what we've been doing from the beginning. That's what we are becoming very good at doing. That's what we will continue to improve in doing. And that is revenue. Engineering, building prototypes is revenue for the company, and that will expand in 2012. As we move ahead, upstream partners, manufacturers, licensing what we do to them, and having them build engines for either specific applications or generally for our customers. We receive license fees, royalties in that respect. Downstream customers. So engines that we have built either in-house or we build through a mass manufacturer like Topline Automotive, who we signed up this year. Those become sales for us. And as we move ahead from prototyping into production revenue, that side of the business will grow dramatically. And then waste heat recovery. As you guys know, we have developed a subsidiary company that we are an 85% owner of. We've given strategic equity to distributors and service providers for this business. But in 2012, we'll be growing that end of our business where we're taking the technology that Cyclone builds, the engines, and putting them into practical use applications in the field. It's a different business model from what Cyclone is as an engineering company. This is an ESCO, or an energy services company. Takes technology, implements technology for customers, finances that technologies. And that's what we will be growing also through Cyclone Waste Heat Engine, which is our subsidiary company. The benefits of this type of a model are clear. We can stay lean and mean. We can limit our overhead. We can have higher margins through engineering, prototyping, licensing, and outsourcing our manufacturing. We can then create vertical synergies, okay, with manufacturers, with customers, integrators, product providers, okay? Keep us as the engineering, the growth, the innovation, where all the spark comes from, and focus on our core competencies, engine development. So how do we get there? How do you get to that point? Well, you got to build a top team. And Harry has started to, and Harry explained very well his engineering team and what that's all about. But it's in the past 3 years, you can see the growth of our team, mostly in technical. We've almost doubled in the last year, and we expect to grow by another 50 to 70% over the next year, year over year. I think our 3 to 5 year goal is having about 60 people in-house, mostly all engineers. We're going to be bottom heavy or top heavy, however you want to say it, but that is our core, and keep management lean. But those are our revenue producers. So we're growing. We're looking up at NASA and USA up in the Florida Space Coast for talented personnel to come down. We're getting resumes there. We're working with the Florida Manufacturing Extension Partnership, Florida MEP, to start bringing good personnel in, and that's going to grow. Expand our capacity. Another important aspect of making this work, and that includes expanding our parking situation. We're right now 8,000 square feet, which includes 2,000 square feet across the way that's currently storage right now. All right? We're looking to grow to about 20,000 plus square feet in the next year, and that's just for our uses only. Okay? And that's mostly all engineering, assembly, small-scale production. But what we're also looking at doing is bringing in two things on either side of us. Our machine shop, so that we don't have to outsource parts to get parts made. We can do that under one roof, control our destiny, control our timing and our pricing. Now this may be a merger, could be acquisition, or it could be a partnership, which is what it's looking like starting out right now. Bringing our machine shops in-house. Some of those are coming from out of state, and we're working with them right now to provide incentives to be under one roof. That's an extremely exciting advancement for us as we're moving ahead. The other side is integration, okay? Taking what we build and putting them into actual applications, be that a car, a lawnmower, a combined heat and power generator. We want to stay true to our core, and we want to partner and vertically integrate with those groups. And what that becomes then, right here, is a technology cluster. It's a campus. This is something that South Florida there's very hard to find in South Florida if it has it at all. We can be creating these game-changing technologies right here in South Florida, building upon this, and bringing in everything that we need to do to grow this company like we intend to. Our goal by next year to have this in place. Whether we're in there or not, we want to have it in place and ready to go. The last part about growing and our mission is strategic alliances. As I was saying, we can't do everything, but what we can do is create that enabling technology to bring in customers like Raytheon, Renovalia, the U.S. Army, Combalift, which is a new customer of ours, Topline Automotive, which is a big automotive parts manufacturer. So in process right now, looking at high-tech machine shops, looking at electronics and control integrators, high-volume manufacturing, bringing that into our fold as a company. Downstream partners, cogeneration, waste heat recovery, biomass, biofuels, automotive and marine power, and that's just naming a few of what we want to bring in. So this takes money, okay? All of these plans you can't implement unless you have the money to do it. This past year, up to this date, we've raised about $1.5 million, $1.2 million in stock. We've also had about $500,000 to $600,000 in revenue coming in from our contracts. Moving forward, we have a two-stage financing plan. The first is to do a smaller retail round of about $2.5 million, which is already starting to kick off and will be kicking off and will be in full swing after the first of the year. Okay, we have investment banks who are working on with us. We're signing letter of intents to bring in more houses to do that and get that wrapped up. Then with a higher valuation, looking towards the end of the year, about $7.5 million. This could be from different sources. Most likely, this is from smart money, green energy investors. Number two, strategic partners, okay? Corporate partners who have venture funds that have synergistic alliances and needs to see us grow. That's where that additional money comes from moving forward. We have already started that process. We have already made inroads in quite a few meetings with some very, very high-profile household names. So that's moving ahead. Revenue from Raytheon, from U.S. Army, Combalift has started this year. Will continue through the middle of next year. We'll also be adding additional contracts, additional customers that we'll be bringing in more revenue through mostly engineering, prototyping, and some upfront licensing fees. Our goal, operational break-even by the end of next year. Doesn't mean we're earning a profit. That means the money we're bringing in is supporting operations, okay? As we move into 2013, that's where I want to see us start turning a profit. There's a lot that needs to happen for that to make that occur, but that's what we're shooting for. So how do we get there? How do we get to operational break-even? How do we get to profitability? Critical paths to market, okay? People worry. People say, well, how are you guys going to make money? You're so far from, you know, turning a key and having a Cyclone engine run your car down the street. Well, that's true. It takes a while to get there. But the business we're in, as a budding world-class clean tech energy company, engineering company, the revenue paths are throughout the process, okay? So the waste heat engine, the S1, the S2, the Mark V, okay? We see in Q1 delivering our Phoenix engines. That's the waste motor oil engines, 2 prototype engines. We also see delivering and finishing our contract with Raytheon in Q1. But as we do that, we then have a waste heat engine and a Mark V engine that have been vetted, that have been tested, and are ready to go. So we now have the ability to get more customers in. And I have a Rolodex full of customers who are waiting for these 2 engines. Everything from gasification to power generation through burning biomass, all through the world. They're waiting for these engines. And so we can start then really full prototype sales. Just so you know, right now our average cost of a prototype engine is $200,000. All right? This is not the cost of the engine that we're going to ultimately produce in mass market. We're looking then at much closer to what you have in your car, a comparable price engine. But right now, these are customers who have needs. They have no other way to produce power with their fuel, with their waste, with their biomass, with their heat. They don't have clean engines that they need to meet emission standards throughout Europe, throughout the United States. These guys have needs. They need engines now. That's our business. Provide them with these prototype engines, and hopefully more than one of them turn into a viable long-term product that we are then manufacturing and selling to them. So that's generally our critical path to market. We're seeing, by the end of 2012, small-scale production on the waste heat engine, and then into 2013, the other 3 engines. Now, I just want to say one thing. These are our current engines right now. These are what we're focused on right now. Okay? There are other engines that Harry has design plans for that come to us. A Mark VI engine, which is the engine that's out there, the 330 horsepower engine. A 1 megawatt engine for big power generation or driving large tanker ships. Okay? These are things that are in works, but we have to focus right now where we are. So this is just critical path to market of what we have going right now. And where does that leave us with an addressable market? Enormous. As you guys know, and as Harry said very well, this is an engine that touches almost every aspect of transportation, energy development, fuels, all of it. So our markets are enormous. Will we be successful in every one of these markets? No. Will we be successful in some of them? Yes, we absolutely will. And as we move ahead and find which are the right ones and which are the right partners we have to bring them, that's where we're going to see this all shake out. But these are enormous markets we're talking about right now. And we feel, as Harry said, we have an engine that competitively beats all of them. So what have we achieved in 2011? These are just some of them. A lot of them you can't see, such as our technological development, things that have just blossomed in last year. But we were awarded a contract through Advent Power Systems and Dr. Phil Myers with the U.S. Army. Received our contract after 18 months of prodding and testing and poking and thermocoupling with Raytheon. Finally said, okay, we're ready. You guys got something. And they gave us a contract in 2011. That's something that we've been working on for 2 years. Signed an agreement with Combalift for off-road lift equipment. Another big application for us and a strong partner that can help integrate us into the market. Entered into a manufacturing agreement with Topline to build the small waste heat engine. Once again, a huge partner that is putting their money and their time into seeing us succeed. And as we grow, they have capabilities to be mass marketing those engines that we don't build in-house when we bring our manufacturing shop in. Big thing, we moved off the pinks. Took a long time, but with the help of our investment relation people and our legal team and our accountants and everyone up here, we filed with the SEC finally. You know, there are thousands of companies on the pink sheets. They all say they're going to get off the pinks. They all say we're going to file with the SEC and become fully reporting. You know what? Less than 2% of them do. We did it. Something to be very proud of. We also received 15 additional patents this year, mostly in Europe and Asia, but also here in the US on our waste heat engine and different components. As Harry said, critical to our success and our long-term viability. What do we want to do in 2012? Well, complete contracts. Get engines out the door. Recognize revenue from those contracts and use that as the base to ramp up production for additional prototype engines. We'll do about 2 or 3 this year, prototype engines. We want to do 30 to 40 next year. Remember that price tag I said about our prototype engines, okay? We want to ramp up so that we can do this, we can do somewhere around here. That requires more team, bigger facility, and obviously funding to do it, but that's our goal. We want to start the small-scale production, as you saw in the Q4 of 2012. We want to start small-scale production of the waste heat engine so we can take handmade engines into mass-produced engines. That's going to start. That's one of our goals to start in 2012. We want to complete the financing that I talked about earlier, expand our team and facility, and continue the uplisting from the OTCQB to hopefully a national exchange. Now, we'll see where that goes. That's a goal, but that's the next step, whether it's an Amex or a NASDAQ. That's where we'd like to be.